Okay, so in this module, we will be looking at web application forensics and to understand different kind of services and where to look at logs and what we can find from the logs and how to conduct proper investigation. So here we will be looking at, because when it comes to web infrastructure, web application, so let's look at how web application is hosted first. Okay. This is not, yeah, okay. Right, so let's go on a new page. Okay, now let's say we have a website, right? So website, the name is very simple. Where my pen? Yeah, sample.com is the website. Okay, so let's try to understand the process first. Okay, so if someone types sample.com, what will happen is, first thing to happen is DNS resolving. They try to understand where the DNS query is going. Why? Because the reason is the web server is a physical or virtual machine which has a public static IP, because otherwise you can't host a website. Okay, so then this site would have operating system. This site would have a web application, web app, right? So web application is hosted. Sorry, before that, it need to have web service running. Web service. So what are the web services out there? It can be Apache, which is very commonly used one, open source, Apache, and then Microsoft scenario, we have IIS and Nginx users are there. This is again web service. These are services, web service, and also you can see Tomcat. There are various web services out there. What they do is they provide the service. So this is a service. So we have operating system. It can be Linux or Windows or any operating system. And on top of that, we need to have web service, and we need to have web public static IP. And then website is hosted, website or application, web app. Let's say web app is there hosted. So usually this can be found under www directory, and then this web application can have number of additional components like plugins, extensions, custom developed web areas, source files, image files, video files, so on and so forth. You can find it. All right. So whenever now the client side go to browser, if you type sample.com, first thing to happen is DNS resolving, because when you obtain a web URL like sample.com, you need to configure name servers or IP addresses to redirect the browsers around the world to this particular IP. So as I said before, this has to have an IP, let's say 1.2.3, 220.1.2.3 is our public IP. So then the DNS, I mean, domain name registrar, it can be GoDaddy, it can be Namecheap, it can be nic.lk. So then when you obtain it, you need to configure this information. Okay, so then when you type sample.com, for an example, let me just go ahead and open a Chrome browser. Let's type sample.com and press enter. When I do that, it will, my local DNS client would query to find out what is the IP address of the sample.com. So if you want to find out IP address, we can simply do ping.www.sample.com. Okay, when you do that, you can see this is where sample.com is hosted. This is the public IP address that I was talking about. And if you look at this one, display ipconfig / display DNS. So you can, sorry, ipconfig, sorry. So display DNS, it would find, so here you see this record, okay? Display DNS, this command will show you, because whenever it found the IP address, it will be stored temporarily in our DNS cache. Okay, so then first it will send the query recursively or iteratively to find out www.sample.com, and once it recovered, it will be sent back to the system or the client, and it will be saved in the client location until the time to leave value within the TTL value. So let's go to PowerShell, and there we have another command to do the same. I'm going to say get DNS client cache. Yeah. So when I open it up, okay. So here you see the resolved URLs, the DNS record types, and the IP addresses, and so on and so forth. And also you see the TTL value is 2523. If I do it again, you see it has become 500. Whenever this has become 0, this DNS entry completely removed from the system. Okay. Now, now this is the complete simple setup. So when it comes to investigation, we will be needing to find out the IP address related information, DNS queries, all these. Okay. So for example, if you want to find out one thing we can do, if I do who is sorry, if I type sample.com, and if I go to DNS records, so this is where you can find a DNS information. So here you see sample record, and now name server records are mytrafficmanagement.com and admin giant panda, and these are the two name records, and this is where the sample.com record is hosted. And if you go back, you can see the same configuration, same entry here as well. So here sample.com a record, you can find this information, and here you see sample.com. So this is the IP address 45.33.2032C5 1958. So the same thing can be found here. Now, the next thing is where this is placed. So usually in our network infrastructure is divided to 3 if it is segmented network, especially if we are hosting web sites. So we are allowing external traffic to come into internal network. In that scenario, we usually create segmented network. So usually we have DMZ, demilitarized zone at least, and we have production environment, and we have corporate environment if it is organization. And usually we have firewalls between these firewalls to separate the traffic, because we are receiving external traffic. This is where the router is connected, and this is connected to internet. And here you can place web front-end server. So all public facing servers usually keep in the demilitarized zone. And if this web server has, let's say, a database server, it will be kept in production environment, and this communication will be through the firewall. Okay. And here you can see there is a router, guys, there is a firewall, and probably sometimes you can find even intrusion detection system, intrusion prevention system in between. So then if the traffic goes by, it has to go through router, it has to go through firewall, it has to go through intrusion detection system, and then the web service. So web service consists of, let's say, Apache or IIS, and also server has server operating system logs and all that. So then pretty much when it comes to log sources, we have router logs, we have firewall logs, we have intrusion detection system logs, we have service logs, we have operating system logs. I hope you understand. So when it comes to investigation, when it comes to attack, all these sources may have important information related to this investigation, right? Then again, I would like to insist, forensic readiness is very, very important. Forensic readiness is very, very important. In that sense, first thing to do is that NTP synchronization is really, really important. NTP, name, time protocol, network time protocol, NTP. Because otherwise, if the devices are having different or slightly different time, correlation is very, very important. What is the correlation? So correlation is relating one incident to another. All right. So then this is how we can find out the root cause and how it works. All right. So then we need to find out the root cause. So then in order to understand this one, the network time protocol plays a major role. And also you need to configure the log files in a single location, something like central login, Splunk in Splunk kind of SIEM solution, then it's easy. Okay. So then it automatically normalizes, aggregates, and correlates the log information. So then very, very easily we can trace them out.